Hello everyone and welcome to another very nice game from round 5 of this year's European Team Chess Championship. It is Daniele Vocaturo versus Jorden van Foreest, board 1, Italy versus Netherlands, and it's quite a short game but quite an interesting one, and it features a very sneaky queen trap that you guys will have a chance to figure out on your own. So let's check it out. Daniele has the white pieces and he opens with pawn to e4. We have pawn to c6, d4, d5, the Caro-Kann defense is on the board, knight c3, d captures on e4, knight captures, and knight to f6. We have knight captures on f6, e captures on f6, and now bishop to e3. A few hours ago I played a game that I uploaded, will be probably watchable in some 2 hours, where I continued with pawn to c3, and it was a very interesting game for those of you who are enjoying the rapid action on lichess. But here we have bishop to e3, and in that game I mentioned that I always go for the c3 line against this Caro-Kann setup because there's a game Jan Krzysztof Duda played against Magnus Carlsen in the Norway Chess 2020, and he won an incredible game. So I kind of thought that it was appropriate to play that if the great Magnus fell to it, so might my opponents. But here we have a very Morphy-esque setup. Here Daniele will go for bishop e3, bishop d3, queen f3, and queenside castle. So incredibly rapid development. Bishop to d6, bishop to d3, and now knight to d7. The standard remaneuvering of the knight to d7 to f8 and then to g6 or e6. We have queen to f3 and now knight to f8. And here, there are some games where knight to e2 was played, but here we have queenside castles, and it is now already, as of move 9, that we have a completely new game. So, Jorden goes for bishop to e6. Very rare that you will see in top-level chess both of the bishops set up this way. c4, as the a2 pawn is hanging, so pawn to c4. You could also play king to b1. It's always a question, do you want to waste a move on that or not? Knight to g6 and now pawn to h4. Going right after that knight with pawn to h5, so queen to d7, trying to win the exchange here, but now pawn to h5. So what's the idea? Can you just win the exchange here? Well, not really. The king is still in the center of the board. Here, Jorden does go for bishop to g4, but now queen to e4 with check. Knight to e7, it makes sense. You want to block check as your knight is also hanging on g6. And now bishop to e2 blocking, with bishop to f5 attacking Daniel's queen, queen to h4, and now, interestingly, we have to also look at the aspect of time here. Jorden spent not even 10 minutes reaching this position on move 15, and Vocaturo spent some 45 minutes. So he's really trying to play against a Jorden who is already an elite player and a much higher rated opponent, but it's costing him a lot of time. So here pawn to b5. It's a standard maneuver in this Caro-Kann where white castles queenside and has c4. You want to open up the attack towards white's king, and of course pawn to g4 going after the bishop. And now Jorden plays bishop to e6, but now it comes with tempo as the c4 pawn is hanging. So the best way to play this, and this is if you really let the engine crunch the numbers, and black is much better here. White is actually already in survival mode. If c5, for example, is played, bishop to c7, yes, you've prevented black from opening up the queen side, but now the a2 pawn is hanging. If you play king to b1, then queen to d5 is coming. You have to play b3, then already a5, and it's a very, very scary position to defend for white. But in the game, Vocaturo said, nope, we are not defending this. We are going for an all-out attack on the king side, pawn to g5, f captures on g5, queen captures going after the g pawn, and now Jorden just opens up the b file. We have b captures on c4, queen captures on g7, rook to g8 attacking the queen, and even queen captures on h7. So now Daniele has created a passed pawn, but here comes pawn to f5, attacking the queen. Only square for the queen is queen to h6, so this is what he plays. But now feel free to pause the video and win the game for Jorden while I give you a couple of seconds. So for those of you who were able to do it, congratulations on realizing that the white queen is trapped on h6. And for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, it is knight to d5. This is what Jorden played, and now you see that there is no defense against bishop to f8. The queen, it's interesting, you can't even move anything to make room for the queen. The h-pawn cannot move, the bishop cannot move, the entire diagonal is covered. If you could get the queen to d2, okay, maybe you could continue. There's just no square. Knight to f3 was played, sort of going for knight to e5 to attack the black queen, but it changes nothing. Here Jorden just played bishop to f8, and he was in this position on move 22 that Daniele Vocaturo resigned the game, as there is nothing more to be done here. So very, very interesting game, brilliant game by Jorden. He spent, interestingly also, Daniel was left with 26 minutes on the clock at the end of the game, and Jorden spent 26 minutes for the entire game. So also very interesting. But yeah, here we resign because even if you play knight e5 and it's your only move, anything else you play, you have to give up the queen. But for those of you who like it when I finish the games, yeah, you will just capture the queen. And now after knight captures on d7, the problem is the king is on the same diagonal as the bishop. But bishop captures on e3 is nice. You could play, of course, this, and it will still be winning after king captures on d7. But now comes bishop captures on c4, and after knight captures on e3, attacking the rook and the bishop, there's bishop d3 attacking the f5 bishop. So if you capture a bishop captures on f5 comes with check. So you'll have to play bishop to e6, and then the rook moves, rook dt1, and the game continues where black will just be up a full knight, of course, completely winning. Okay, white is up a pawn. The h-pawn is a little bit dangerous, but eventually you will win this. However, you don't have to allow any of this. After in this line, we don't have to play bishop captures on e3. We just play knight captures on e3. Of course, we allow the monster bishop pair to remain active on these diagonals, and after something like knight to f6, giving up the exchange here, king e7, knight captures, rook captures, and now rook to d2. There's not all that much you can do here with white. The king is absolutely getting destroyed here. Let's say bishop e4 attacks the rook. Bishop to f3, you can even trade here, not a problem. Bishop captures on f3. Rook to e1 will win back material. Bishop to e4, f captures on e3, and now just rook to g3. And there's really no move here. You can defend the pawn, but now bishop d3 chases away the rook, and once the rook moves, you capture the pawn here. King moves, and now pretty much anything can be played, but there's nothing for white to try here. If the rook ever moves the back rank, which it can't really do, this would be checkmate, as all of the squares here are covered in front of the white king, and there is zero counterplay here for white. Black's plan is very simple. Black will simply advance this pawn to victory, and that's it. White has nothing to say about this, as f3, f2, and f1 are covered, so you'll play just a few more moves, and after 5 moves, white resigns this. So white's only counterplay is to push the pawn, but of course, black is much faster. Once you stop this, king to g8, and you put the king on h8, that's it. There's no more. Yeah, there's no more counterplay here for white. It's now only a matter of pushing the f-pawn. So, of course, many ways to win this, but after bishop to f8, Vocaturo said, all right, I've had enough. Great game, sir, and I resign. So yeah, that's the game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Very nicely done by Jorden. Beautiful miniature, only 22 moves in the Caro-Kann. So, no wonder everyone hates playing against the Caro-Kann. And if you want to see Caro-Kann played on a much, much lower level, first link in the description below will be, not now, but in some 2 hours when it becomes active, my game that I played in the Caro-Kann variation. So yeah, thank you all. I would like to thank the Kozebu Chess Club, Chen Bohu and Sick Nick, Donald Duncan Parker, Andreas Rosenthal, and David Gasparian for your contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing the coverage of the European Team Championship until it finishes. Thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day.